Our next guest has been covering the violent push towards anarchy and socialism. His videos have been seen by millions of people on social media, like this one where a man was beaten for carrying an American flag. I want you to welcome to the program a conservative reporter on the ground covering the uprisings across our cities. He is the editor-at-large for the Post-Millennial and author of the book Unmasked: Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. Andy Ngo is with us. Andy, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Andy. So I want to ask you straight out. I've watched your videos. I follow you on Twitter. I urged everybody out there to do this as well. You have gotten yourself in some pretty hairy situations. What is it like to face down these mobs? Really, at one point, it was on a daily basis you were out in the middle of all this.
As I recall what happened during the summer, it still feels really surreal. It was really like a war zone. You had two sides to a belligerence. You had federal law enforcement in the case of Portland, and on the other side, thousands of people who were either part of Antifa or sympathetic to their cause, using projectiles, bringing guns, using lasers and starting fires. It's died down a bit in Portland. The riots aren't every day now. They're weekly, and that's an improvement because we had over 120 days of violent protests.
Andy, you know, it's as if you were a war zone reporter, only you were doing this from our own nation. What have you taken away from your experience as a young man out there covering this, things that should not be happening in this country?
I think my takeaway is that the Republic is strong, but it's not invincible. And there are forces within this country and abroad who are seeking to destabilize the state for nefarious purposes. And I think Americans every day shouldn't just be so content and nonchalant in thinking that life will always remain as we see it. That there are actually, at least in some places in America, there are organized networks of people who are intent on destroying this country through a literal regime change. And that may sound hyperbolic, but if you look at what they do and you look at their literature and you listen to them, that's exactly what their goal is.
And so you say organized, and I'm a firm believer that they most certainly are organized. You've witnessed it firsthand, that organization of this chaos out there. Is there anything left that surprises you anymore when you witness this?
What does surprise me, though I shouldn't be surprised, is the reaction of local politicians and the role they play in enabling and sustaining violent extremism in their city, as long as that extremism is cloaked under the banner of racial justice, social justice. We elect in these people to be leaders, but they're letting us down every day. And they're always going to pull a salary, but those who have had their businesses closed or who have suffered injuries, such as myself or other people who have been killed, they are the ones to pay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy, you are doing a great service. You're one of the last journalists really out there that's covering this in a legitimate manner. And I'm grateful, just as a national broadcaster, for the work you're doing, because for a while I was getting a lot of my information from your videos there. And for that, I'll be grateful. You keep up the great work, and I appreciate you coming on today. Andy Ngo, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the program. Coming up on Stinchfield, folks.